What up, everyone? I'm Rich Mays Lopez.
And I'm Brendan Dunne, news editor at Soul Collector.
And this is Full Size Run Show, the absolute only sneaker show that you need in your life. Shout out to everyone that's joining us here today. Be glad to have you back, brother.
It's nice to be back in the building. I do appreciate our legions of fans who requested my return, including one pleasant commenter who said the show just was not the same without me, which couldn't agree more.
So you came back for us.
Thank you for your support.
We have a lot going on today. Of course, we are running down the best and worst of sneakers this week, and we have a guest with us in the building today.
I'm excited about this guest.
I'm very, very excited about this guest. B. Diddy News section.
First thing I want to talk about is James Harden covering up the Nike logo on his jersey at the Drew League. This is obviously a funny one because the Drew League is
a Nike league.
But James Harden's still playing in it and decided to put some what looked like black masking tape over the logos, as he should, since Adidas is paying him a reported $200 million for that contract that he got. Of course, inevitably, he will be wearing the swoosh because Nike has the NBA deal going into this coming season, but I still tip my hat to him for this one.
I respect the hell out of this. If, like you said, if you're getting paid a grip like that and you don't have to bear a competitor's logo, you can buff it out. You got to do it. Sidebar to that, we saw a picture of Kendrick Lamar earlier this week, fully dipped in swooshes from head to toe, and people are wondering whether or not he's still a Reebok endorsee. That I don't know. Do you know?
I do know. I don't know if I can speak about it on camera. But let's say there is a very real reason why you saw Kendrick Lamar wearing a lot of swooshes.
And I believe that too. Moving on to more
Nike news.
Yeah, more Nike entertainer news. Nike officially released their statement earlier this week confirming that they will be no longer in relationship with ASAP Bari, coming off of the sexual assault allegations and, of course, that damning video that was released on the internet a couple weeks back. Brendan and I spoke about this weeks ago, kind of foreshadowing that this would and should happen.
Yeah, I think Nike waited too long. I'm glad they said something, but it's very curious that basically they waited to make a statement until Gian at Highsnobiety, shout out to him, he had a little scoop. He said a source at Nike told him that they had dropped him, and that basically forced Nike's hand. And obviously the assumption is that none of the V-Lone sneakers are ever coming out. That's a pretty safe one. Elsewhere in Nike endorser news, or more specifically Jordan endorser news, we have some Drake info about what looks like his next duo of Air Jordan releases. The OVO Air Jordan 8s are reportedly releasing next January. This comes from Soul Heat on Feet on Twitter, a guy who's been leaking a lot of information lately. The dates are, of course, subject to change. This is a ways out, but he's saying that the white and black OVO Air Jordan 8s will be releasing next January.
Gotcha.
Are you into that, Rich?
I love the Air Jordan 8. I have a pretty close relationship with some people over at
with
Drake, yes.
True or false?
With some good people at OVO. Listen, if I had a close relationship with Drake, I wouldn't be here. I would be partying with Drake somewhere, wherever the hell he is, and wherever Dennis Graham is. I want to be where Dennis Graham is.
Shows how much you enjoy my company. Rich was always scared to name names, man.
No, and I know some things that I also can't say, but I'm into it. Just because I love the Jordan 8 and I'm good with the people at OVO, shout out to the OVO fam, I am into it, to answer your question.
All right.
And if they drop, I'm copping.
All right, what else do we have coming up in terms of collab releases that we're excited about, Rich?
This is something that I'm actually very excited about, and there's no hesitation whether or not I'm into it, and that is several pieces from Virgil Abloh's Off-White pack. Earlier this week, we got confirmation, I guess, that
Close enough,
that Off-White's pack will be dropping in September, headed, of course, by the Air Jordan 1 by Off-White. That is supposedly dropping on September 1st.
Yeah.
I have stated at least a couple times on this show that I love this sneaker. I'm not a fan of everything else in the pack, but I am a massive fan, and I think these are actually better than Jordan 1s, and that's the Off-White Air Presto. I was at Panorama.
The Presto's very nice.
Fire. I was at Panorama over the weekend, and I saw Frank Ocean performing in them. Was that close, and so I got an actual up-close look rather than seeing all the pictures on the net. And
how close? Are we talking VIP,
fire.
Rich?
Come on, man.
You were in the VIP?
I was in the VIP,
okay.
something light.
Okay.
And again, got to see him up close. Absolute fire. Frank's performance in them was fire, so I'm very much looking forward to all this Off-White stuff.
Are you gonna be trying to buy any of the pairs other than the Jordan? It sounds like you're after the Jordan. It sounds like you're after the Presto.
That's probably
Vapor Max.
I'm still not into that sneaker.
Okay.
I'm still not into that sneaker.
Trying every week to convince you.
The Air Max 90 Ice, I'm not a huge fan of. What else have we seen?
I'm a big Blazer fan, but that
the Blazer was cool.
That Blazer doesn't do too much for me.
The Air Force One Low, I'm not so hot on.
It depends on which version.
one?
There have been so many floating around. The black one with the silver swoosh is great. But
That's pretty good.
Rich, let's talk about the best and worst things we saw on the internet this week, as we always do. Starting off on a positive note, I think the best thing I saw was those Nike Kobe AD player exclusives for De'Aaron Fox, the Dragon Ball Z ones.
Very good.
I guess he's a huge Dragon Ball Z fan.
As he should be.
I think this is above and beyond what they usually do for player exclusive stuff. And a good look for the Kobe AD, a model that otherwise hasn't been terribly exciting.
Nike usually plays this very conservatively and goes with like color ups.
Yeah.
And
they did a little material thing
yeah,
here.
this looks more customish to me, which is very interesting that Nike would kind of go in a custom space for their own athletes here. But I love it. I'm a DBZ fan, so I'm here for it.
Okay.
My best of the week, of course, we can't go a full-size run without mentioning the GOAT himself, and by that I mean LeVar Ball, but also Michael Jordan. So Michael Jordan actually came off of his lofty perch on top of all of us mortals to speak LeVar Ball's name, and responded to LeVar Ball's brazen challenge of saying that he could defeat Michael Jordan one-on-one.
Michael Jordan said, I don't think he could beat me if I was one-legged.
I'm going to have to agree here with Michael Jordan. I don't think LeVar Ball could beat Michael Jordan one-on-one if he was one-legged and one-armed.
Do you think LeVar Ball could beat you one-on-one?
No, absolutely not.
Really?
Absolutely not. LeVar Ball, if you would like to see me on any court, anywhere in the world, come holler at me. We've spoken about LeVar Ball at length, and we will continue to on this show.
We will always set aside precious time for LeVar Ball.
Of all people, LeVar Ball, people want to come into my mentions and talk about how LeVar Ball is irrelevant. Dude, if Michael Jordan is speaking his name, LeVar Ball is far from irrelevant, because Michael Jordan only has precious words and breaths that he can spend, and he's spending them on LeVar Ball. So don't hit me in my mentions talking about LeVar Ball. Nothing, ever.
And I don't think he can win this one, because LeVar Ball already responded and said, yeah, we'll play. He said, I'll have one arm, you have one leg, we'll do it on pay-per-view. Obviously, that's never happening.
Oh boy, but it should. Piggyback with that,
okay.
One of the best things I've seen this week was Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen reuniting for the first time in decades on the basketball court.
Did you shed a tear?
Almost did.
You shed a single tear?
I almost did. I might have welled up in the corner a little bit.
Michael Jordan's flight school.
I might have. Listen, Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen mean a lot to my being here right now. So seeing them together on the court for the first time in decades, it was a moment for me. It definitely was.
Rich, let's talk about the worst things we saw in sneakers this week. This wasn't the first time we saw the shoe, but I'm still upset about this future Reebok collaboration. It's just not good, man. Shout out to the good people at Reebok. I'm not having it.
What about the shoe do you not like?
I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. It's like a Sean Kemp, it's like a Insta Pump Fury with the Kamikaze 2, and what does that have to do with Future? Do you have anything positive to say?
I don't even know what to say about this, because
Future makes great music.
Oh,
let's say that.
Future makes amazing music.
Sneakers?
I don't know, man.
Well.
And I thought 56 Nights was crazy. Oh man, my worst of the week might be the worst thing I've seen
in many weeks.
Many weeks, maybe even many years, and that is this god-awful...
You hate this shoe.
...split Air Jordan 1
You're
high.
not happy about this shoe.
And
although it would kind of go nice with the fit you have going on today. You know, the little red and white situation?
Chill. Don't put these on my feet. Even in jest, don't put these on my feet.
All right, man.
I want to say the same thing like Brendan. I know a lot of people at Jordan that I like and am very friendly with, and I know that they can do better than this. This, what I'm looking at here, is fucking sacrilegious, okay? You are taking two of the greatest Air Jordan 1s of all time, splitting them in half and putting them together, and my biggest problem with this is, for what reason, okay? There's doing things and they come out bad, like, oh man, that came out kind of whack, but it had good intentions, right? This is bad and unnecessary. Jordan Brand does not have to do this, man. Like, for what reason? What is this? What is this doing? What is this doing? What are we doing here? I'm like, at this point, I'm about to flip over the table. What is this doing?
You know how long it took us to get this table.
Yeah, and it cost the
budget is small, so the table has to stay.
I'm asking you, Brendan.
Please calm down at least a little
Why do
bit.
we do this? Why are we doing this? What's the purpose of
I
this?
guess just to build some excitement around the model. It's strange too because they're calling it a sample and they don't usually show off samples like this. It just kind of popped up on Nike News yesterday. Not a shoe that's ever releasing as far as we can tell. I'm not as offended by it as you are. I think the stitching thing is kind of cool down the front. You know, they did that on the K54 Friends and Family pair. Were you upset by that one as well?
I can't even.
All right. Rich is upset.
I'm not even upset. I'm like offended, guy. I'm like really offended. I'm taking offense to this.
Rich, moving past that that touchy subject, let's talk about the sneakers that are releasing this week. What are we copying? What are we dropping?
Yes.
My pick for the week is a women's Air Max 97, the silver and blue
these joints.
one.
Yeah.
I've been hyped for this one since they revealed it. Actually, an older colorway that's coming back. I'm looking forward to this.
I hate to continue to throw shade on Jordan, but my drop of the week is the white cement Air Jordan 5. For no other reason than I don't like combining colorways here. This is obviously the white cement 4 colorway. That needs to stay on that sneaker. I don't need it on the Air Jordan 5. That's it.
We do want to open up the metaphorical mailbag for a second here. We took some questions on social media. Every week we do like to do that. So, ahead of the episode, hit us up on Twitter.
Yep.
That handle is
Full Size Run Show.
At
or
Full
Soul
Size
Collector.
Run Show. Yeah, you can hit us on Soul Collector as well. The first one is from T_LVSKV asking, what must Jordan do to be as popular as it was before, other than stop upsetting Rich with these abominations? I think that Jordan brand is probably actually more popular than it was before. I don't think there's any evidence of their sales numbers going down.
Yeah.
But I think this is maybe more a question of sneakers selling out immediately
or going on
the
sale.
hype around them.
I will say one thing we touched on this last week, unfortunately, when you were in Chicago with Jabari Parker, doing stuff like they did with Travis. The Cactus Jack Turner. That will help build the buzz back. Obviously, the kids love Travis. I love Travis.
So
I'm
you
not
think
even
the same
kid.
collaborations, linking up with the
Good
right people,
collaborations, stuff like that. Paying attention to the culture, not doing split down the middle Air Jordan 1s, things like that will help.
Next up, we have Big Zach _57. Please say the underscore. He says, do you think SB hype will ever come back? I'm going to say no. I think that was just such a unique era, as far as the crazy colorways and then kind of taking the storytelling to a different level that we hadn't really seen in the sneaker game before.
I will say it will never be the way it was, but I don't think that it can't be something again.
Sure.
But it will never be what it was.
No
way.
Not with the dunks and
no way.
That
what could you? How could you possibly
split them down the middle, right?
That's the answer to everything. How could you possibly create something as amazing as the Dunkles? It's just you can't get there ever again.
The last and no doubt most important inquiry in our mailbag this week.
Very important.
How old is Rich Mays Lopez?
Very important.
And what is his skincare routine? A question I've been bothering you with for months now. You still have told me nothing.
This is what the people want to know. I'm going to give it to the people. First of all, I'm old enough to know way too damn much about sneakers. That's the answer to that one. The second one about my skincare routine, and this is very, very important, all right?
Take notes.
First of all, you have to know your own skin, right?
Okay.
So my skincare routine might not necessarily work for you. You have to know your oily spots.
Okay.
You have to know your T-zones, right?
What's the T-zone?
The T-zone is your forehead down to your nose. It's like your oily, where you get your most oily.
Yeah.
Follow me here, right?
Yeah.
Then you also have to have different soaps for different parts of the day and in different scenarios. So for instance, when I wake up in the morning, I like to splash my face with a little Noxzema because it gets me fresh, it wakes me up, that menthol, that minty feeling gets me going in the morning, right? Then when I come home from work, I like to throw in a little scrub to just scrub the MTA, the transit off my face. And then before I go to sleep, I throw in a little Clearasil just to get some, salicylic acid going in just to clear the pores a bit. But then it's also very important that you have a mask, right? I
see a lot of young ladies on Instagram with the mask.
Yeah, also young men. I prefer the St. Ives Mint Julep mask. Absolute fire. Will get into your pores and get that stuff out. But listen, I want to tell you something that's very important. If you are a man and you are watching this show and you were asking me about your skin routine, I applaud you because skin care is not only for women. Take care of yourself.
Rich, thank you. I just want to shake your hand.
Thank you.
Because I've been waiting so
long. Thank you. Skincare is very important, my brother.
I feel like very soon I will be glowing on a level that I
never
have before.
Glow up.
After
don't let anyone tell you you can't glow as a man.
From you. We do want to bring on our guest for the day. Mr. Richard Franklin
is in the building.
Please come on down.
I need to know his skincare routine.
Richard,
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for joining
Thanks for
us.
having
My
me.
man,
Rich,
my
let
man.
me tell you, the skincare conversation is enlightening.
But is it important, though?
It's very important, you know? The glow is very important, and it's taking care of yourself. It's hygiene. I liked it. It's very enlightening.
I want to start off, first of all, with an intro. You
Sure.
are a man that wears many hats.
Yes.
We're here today to speak more specifically about one of them.
Sure.
But give me the totality of the breadth of your
Sure.
conglomerate.
All
Sure.
your hats.
Yeah, the hats. I call it, when you come to Brooklyn, I say drinking out of the fire hydrant.
Okay.
Because people can't just go there and just like experience or hear one story.
Yeah.
There's so much stuff just flooded through.
Sure.
It just becomes a creative outlet for us. So
Sure.
when people come in there, we show them all the things we do.
Yeah.
So we manufacture clothing, we manufacture accessories, we do a lot of footwear boxes for some of the big collaborations that you see and you guys probably have reviewed in the past.
Yeah.
But on top of that, we also do bespoke footwear for some of the best
Dope.
in the industry. We have some of the highest grade customs in the world.
Dope.
And on top of that, we've now birthed our new company, which is Drystepper.
Drystepper.
Drystepper was invented by myself standing at Yankee Stadium one day.
Okay.
We're all
Let's
a
go,
product of like, you know, kind of running from the bus or the
Right.
bodega, and like, so it's
Yeah.
more or less solving a problem and a purpose than
Yeah.
anything. It's not like to be cool or to stun. It's like really to solve a problem. It's like, oh, like today I came down here and right before I stepped out of my building in Brooklyn, I'm wearing a priceless pair of sneakers,
Yeah.
a one of one, and I stepped out and I go, sorry, I'm just not gonna like risk it today. Kick them on real quick, get into the car, kick them off.
So you have some dry
Yeah, we
steppers
do. We
here for
actually
us.
brought today. We brought some. The clear model is one of our
So
more
basically-
popular ones.
I just take this, and I guess I should try and put it on.
Might as well.
You want to do the honors?
What is
I'm not Cinderella, so I don't want.
what is the price point on these?
So we sell these for $19.95. It's
Okay.
a nice, appropriate price point. It's something that's affordable. They last many different times. You know, you got to slip it on. It has a non-slip sole on the bottom. It has a zipper up the front with a gusset, and then you obviously have your toggles here that you just tighten so that you don't get the splash. Everybody says, "Yeah, but the water's still gonna get in through the top."
me see one of those.
Rich. There's the other one. We're going to show you some unreleased models today. So one of our more popular themes that we play with this is, you know, we use some of the popular shoes of today. So whether this is an unreleased pair, so full size run is giving you guys the full peek here.
Exclusive.
Exclusive.
Are you going to get sued for this?
No, not at all. And the reason
I'm
why
sure,
you don't see any logos on there, do you?
No.
That could be any given.
You don't
day.
see
What
any
sneaker is
logos
this?
on
I
there.
don't
And,
even
and
know.
somebody from Nike holla at me.
Basketball
Let me
shoe.
know if you guys have any of these patterns or anything patented. I don't know if you have. I've done pretty good
man.
research. But the point is like, so this is a model with a black bottom. A lot
Got
of
it.
people say like, oh, but you could be wearing a duster underneath there. I think that's kind of the funny part about it.
Yeah.
You know, you could be wearing like a complete like Sketcher duster that you're like a worker in a factory and you just like want to stunt on people and throw on a little, you know, Air Jordan 4. We have guys like that
Wait,
go to festivals
or
and
not
stuff.
Air,
Just-
I mean,
just
or
some
just
other
generic
sneakers.
Just
basketball
generic, just
sneaker.
generic basketball number fours. We'll call them that number fours. We have an all-over pattern that we've done for a while, and this is the all-over. We will call Camo Print. So the Camo Print here is a full all-over print. The prototype of the Drystepper's coat.
Oh.
So this is our first version of our coat.
Fishtail jump off.
Fishtail. Yeah. Well, listen, we're from the fashion sector. We're from the fashion sector, so you're gonna have to put it on and have the full suit on because you have like, you know, the Drysteppers on the bottom now. Now, mind
this
you,
I can do. Respectfully, I don't know if I can wear these out like
yeah,
this.
it's
I
okay.
can't do this.
I
I
tell
can't
you
do
what,
this,
some
man.
people say like, bro, I just can't do it, and I'm like, you know, that's cool. It's fine. It's not. It's everything's not for everybody. But at the end of the day, we're also grown-ups, and
Yeah.
we have to like go from point A to point B. We don't have
True.
hours and
I
hours
could do
to
this.
scrub our shoes, so we throw it on
I
and we
could
keep
do
it
this.
moving.
Because I've done bags before.
There
And
you
this
go.
is a
Mind
this is an
you,
upgrade
we
for
have a
me.
rip in the jacket because I thoroughly test everything. We prototyped it many times, and then we had to understand the sizing.
Yeah.
So as you know, like shoes these days, the NMD is very bulbous at the rear.
Yeah.
You know, or some of the Yeezys are very wide on the side. So how do you find a universal fitting system that fits everything? So we do have sizes small, medium, large, extra large, and then we have developed this like big boy size that goes over like if you're a dinosaur and you have like a 25, like Shaq.
Shaq size.
But basically, I tried and tested it throughout a New York winter, and the only self-inflicted injury was self-inflicted. I actually hit myself with the shovel while I was
And that's
shoveling,
it.
and that was the only rip that I got. So I got many, many wears out of them.
Need to do to test this? Do you need me to run into some burning buildings?
Oh, well, this is...
You know, some type of.
I think this is probably probably highly flammable. But
Yeah, that's definitely
I don't
gonna
know,
that's
man.
definitely gonna catch. But what this is made for is a stylish rendition for you to walk around New York City. You could throw over the existing Supreme hoodie you have on, or Kith joint, or if you're rocking something that you consider to be like a nice shirt that you don't want to shrink, you don't want to get dirty, you don't want to damage. This is our rain gear, our protective streetwear version of how we're gonna segment.
this is like
our
a
company.
packable joint too?
Yeah.
Okay.
Everything that we have comes in a packable a travel case.
Yeah.
So you could roll them up. A lot of the shoes here, like some days I go out and I don't have the travel case on them, and I just fold them up and stick them in my back pocket.
Yeah.
So it's that easy. Listen, the point is like, you got to enjoy what you're doing.
Yeah.
And you know, it solves a problem. It's purposeful, and if we play it with it and we have fun with it, cool.
Yeah.
Otherwise, if you just want it plain and simple, just so it looks clean, that's the two looks we're going for.
Yeah.
A real clean look, but then something if you want to be a little playful. You see where the industry is going now.
Yeah.
It's a little wacky.
This
There's a little
to
crazy
me is
stuff
fire.
going on.
This
No, it's
I
fire.
would, this I would do.
I have fashion
I'm in
designers that are literally like knocking down, like, can I do a Drystepper's collab? We
Yeah.
need to do something with this jacket.
This
and
is
its
dope.
flavor.
This is
so
dope.
we like that. And
You might
we
see me come through with the
appreciate
full Drystepper kit. You might.
Yeah?
With
Can
the
I get a
pants.
jumpsuit?
that. I'm gonna get you the full like a
onesie?
onesie, like a
Yeah,
onesie. Yeah, we got to work on a Drystepper
Put some
onesie.
Soul Collector branding on the back, something like that.
Beyond Drystepper, you do a lot
Sure.
of other things. Now, when I first saw you, when I walked into the room, I was immediately drawn to what you have on your feet.
For sure.
And based on that, you launched into your other gig, and that is this.
Yes. So I'm also one of the owners of Relevant Customs.
Okay.
Okay.
There's myself and there's John Silverman, who's my partner, real good friend of mine, my brother to the end. So what we do is we make some of the world's finest, and I want you guys to hold this so that I could have your opinion as well.
Yeah, I can see from here.
Some of the world's finest footwear. The process of making this, a lot of the other people have seen it on Instagram. You've seen bespoke customizers before. A lot of the work, is looks good, and it's in my eyes. I joke sometimes and I say it looks good from far, but far from good.
Yeah.
So what we are is we are a bespoke company that makes footwear for the hottest celebrities.
Yeah.
We've done Jay-Z, we've done Beyonce, we've done 50 Cent, Diddy.
Yep.
These all white.
This is crazy.
These are sick. These are what we call the all white Shane Victorinos, the Snow White Yeezy. These were made for Shane. Designed
Can I
them
see
with.
these?
Yeah, of course you can.
This is
We
crazy.
brought even some more fire models, so I might as well just get those out while we're talking. You have ostrich, you have python, you have ostrich again on the toe box, you have lizard on the tongue, and then the strap of that Yeezy is actually ostrich leg. It's the craft of putting it together.
Yeah.
It's the craft of knowing. The bespoke footwear is a lost art, and it's coming back with some of these newer kids that are starting to launch it. What we do at Relevant is a little bit of a level above that, only because the know-how is coming from generations and generations and generations, where this is a trade. It's not something that you could learn it, you could read it, you could write about it, you could do your research, but if you haven't been doing it and really practicing it and trial and error, you guys could go down stitch by stitch on those, and you'll see what
This
it
is
is.
crazy.
It is an unbelievable quality.
Yeah.
But this one I jumped to this mule a lot because I made this almost 3 years ago. This was a version that we're using an original Jordan. We're using, in this case, the gum sole. This
Yep.
was the all black with the gum bottom.
Yep.
So we're researching the sole options that we'd like to use,
Yep.
picking the proper combination that matches the silhouette and the design of the shoe, and then we're going ahead and repatterning it. In this case, as you pull some of the shearling back, you'll see the repatterning there on the
Yeah.
heel. So you'll actually see still the same heel pattern, the same check, the collar is the same. So it's been repatterned down to the true form so that the shoe still has all of its intricacies that you love for it.
Yeah.
And it's not, you're not taking it away. It's not just a
not
chop.
just chopping it, right?
A lot of people are like, well, how did you get these high top?
Yeah.
Like, what did you add to them? How did you do that?
Yeah.
And it was like, well, no, it's a repatterning. We've went and bought different materials. And in this situation, what a lot of people don't realize is that this is an Andre Agassi Tech Challenge.
Yeah.
So it's really knowing what you want to use as your starting point, really starting from the foundation and building up. If you think about it, like that's a 1 of 10 on your table. This is a 1 of 1. There's
Yeah.
not another one in the world.
I see just the textures on it. You got stingray and python and,
Yeah.
and crocodile type stuff. And even down to the laces.
Yeah.
These are beautiful.
Yeah, so that's called the Dream But Don't Sleep Jordan 1. We designed that from our clothing brand, which is called Rich and Faded.
Nice.
It's an independent streetwear brand. And we basically, me and my partner were just up late one night and we were like, listen, we got a lot of extras, we got a lot of scraps. So whether you believe it or not, that shoe is built off of excess cuts. So
Beautiful
excess
still.
cuts of black elephant, gray elephant, Black Stingray. So this was the first true shoe that we made out of scraps.
Yeah.
Anybody could kind of pick materials and say I'm a designer and do it, but putting it together, making it look proper, knowing the technical aspects that have to be executed for the way you roll your leather, the way you skive, all these things are very important to shoemaking, and we take it very serious. As we're like, it kills me sometimes when I see people like, those are a piece of junk or those are a piece of shit, and I'm like, buddy, like a lot of work went into that.
Yeah.
If everybody knows that Yeezy 1 is on a Jordan 3 sole, and the 2 is on an Agassi Tech Challenge. So you look at it and you say all those intricate details and know-hows that you kind of need to know. That's why they give that sole. That's why they use that option.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
before we get out of here, I need to know, Rich,
Sure.
your favorite sneaker of all time and why.
oh Jesus, how are you gonna do that to me? You
I mean,
really
I got
put
it.
me. It's gonna probably be one of the ones that I designed because I'm like,
dope.
I'm really like. So my favorite is one of the what I call the 420 Dutch Master Dunk. It's not allowed. We sold a couple pairs of them and we got a cease and desist very quickly. Shout out to Dutch Master. You guys should have worked with us and did our golden ticket idea. How cool would that be? Unwrap a Dutch and you win a shoe. Come on, whoever
know
takes
anything
that
about
idea,
Dutch
you heard it
Masters.
here first. Italian leather, we used buffalo, we
Nice.
used ostrich, and we put a lot of details. The box was like an oversized 50 box of Dutches. When you opened it up, you were greeted with a rolling tray that stored 50 cigars.
this is
And you had to
crazy.
slip off, kind of like the bread 11s, how they have that slip
Yeah,
box.
yeah.
So a lot of the details that were in there, with the sneaker general warning on the tab and down to the laser engrave masters on the corner. It was like a lot of detail that went into it. So that's the shoe that really made me fall back in love with sneakers. I came from design, I came from the industry, I came from collecting since I was a kid and having hundreds of pairs, and being able to actually put together like one of my first pairs myself, that was like a childhood
That's the
dream.
one.
That's
That's
like as
dope.
you're a kid, if you had a chance to just
like design your
design
own
whatever
sneaker.
you want.
Yeah,
So
totally.
anybody in the world want to come to Brooklyn and design their masterpiece that we've been thinking of, contact us and come out. We
Yeah.
welcome you guys too.
right.
My man.
Definitely.
Thank you so much for coming
problem,
by
guys.
today.
Thank you
We
so
I
really
wish you all the best,
appreciate
dude.
it.
it. Thank
I
you
wish
so
you
much.
do. This stuff is beautiful to me and I love it, but the utilitarian nature of these is like,
Yes,
that's
for sure.
you know
If
what
you
I
look at our clothing line, it's a full utility clothing line. It's it's fashion over function, or
Yeah.
function over fashion. However you
When
wanna
this
say it.
drops in triple black, you let me know.
Triple black with your name on the inside,
we need-
custom
we
done
You know,
up.
we're gonna need that
Yeah.
bespoke Drystepper.
Exactly. The
Wait,
one
before we
of
get out of here,
one.
talk to me.
All right, folks. Thank you again for checking into Full Size Run.
Yeah.
I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you're glad that I'm back. I'm sure happy to be back in the building.
Take care of your skin.
Don't forget.
Peace.
Don't forget the regimen. Listen, this is important. I need you to subscribe. They're going to make me keep wearing these fake Skechers Yeezys until we hit 50,000 subscribers. So please subscribe to Soul Collector on YouTube. Now.